I'm going to show you how to sell my big old tanker of wheat behind me. We're going to be looking at how to prepare the fields. We're going to look at how to sow the wheat, the machines you will need, the consumables, fertilizers. We're going to talk about different options like weeds. We're going to look at harvesting it, how to sell it, and again, all of the machines, etc. you will need to grow, harvest, and sell your wheat in Farming Simulator 25. Let's get into it. I do want to say, if this video is helpful for you, please do click that subscribe button, which really supports the channel. Before we can actually get going and start seeding and growing our crop, one of the things we need to do here is lime our fields. Now, I want to show you first, because if you are a beginner, you may not want to do this. Go into your menu, go into options, go to game settings, and you actually have a few options here. In fact, let's talk about all of them. We can turn on or off crop destruction. This means if you drive over with your tractor, will the crops be destroyed? Because like when you harvest them, you're going to want your harvester at the front. Periodic ploughing required? No. So basically, do we need to keep ploughing our fields every time? You can turn this on or off. And I am going to show you how to plough the fields, so don't worry. Field stones. This means if stones can actually appear in your fields. So when you're ploughing it, little stones could crop up and they can just damage your equipment. You might want to turn that off as a beginner. Lime. This is what I'm going to show you next, but it's the same premise with all of these machines. Do you want to lime your fields? As a beginner, you might turn it off. I'm going to show you it with it on, however. Weeds are another thing that you may have to deal with. Again, I'm turning it off because it just adds a lot more complexity. But I will talk you through it later in this video, however. So I just wanted to show you where your options are for those things. So if we go again to our menu and go to the map, and let's go to soil composition up here. I like to turn everything off by just clicking it and deactivating it so that I can see exactly what I need to look at, which here is going to be needs lime. So if I enable needs lime on soil composition up here on the map, I can see these aquamarine colors or sort of turquoisey kingfisher colors needs liming. You can see if I zoom in, this brown bit does not need liming, and that is because I've already limed my field. Can you see here it's been limed? So how do we lime? The first thing I'm going to do is go to the shop and actually buy some lime, and I actually want to show you, here's what I prepared earlier. This is actually the setup you'll need for liming. One tractor like this and one fertilizer spreader that can do lime. So if I go to the map, you've got two options here. You can either drive a tractor to the store to pick up your new fertilizer spreader, or maybe you already have one, or you can just fast travel to the shop and pick up a tractor and a liming machine. I'm going to choose that option. So I'm going to go onto the map, drag across the little basket here, click on the basket and click visit, and that'll take you literally to the shop. I can then press R. You can see top left, open shop menu with R. And second tab in here, we now want to actually buy things to, get our liming going. You can buy a small tractor. That's all you're going to need. Any one you want is going to be fine. And that's just going to appear in the car park when you buy it. What you can do is double click on it. And then see down here, it says buy. I'm not going to buy one because I've already done it. You press enter to buy the tractor. Then come again to the second tab on the left and scroll down to yield improvements, fertilizer spreaders. Click on this. And for the base game currently on Farming Simulator 25, we have the Bredel here. This is the one you're going to want. It's 45,000. The reason for that is because if you look at this one, or this one, can you see down here where I'm circling, it has a little seed bag option. That's your fertilizer. Whereas the Bredel has the lime logo, this little white logo. That's your lime, which means only this machine can spread lime. So this is the one we want to buy. And again, you can just press enter and then buy it again and let it appear in the car park. What you also need to buy is underneath it, category consumables, again in yield improvements, consumables and lime. Okay, and you just double click on that. I would say buy maybe like 3 or 4 lime. It's up to you. It's not expensive. We can buy some lime. Again, it'll appear in the car park just like this. Now what I'm going to do is go back home and show you the rest of it. I can also press tab on my keyboard to actually just tab into my other vehicles. There we go. So let's say you've got your tractor, and this could be either in the car park or it could be here where I am now. You want to reverse your tractor up to the new machine. And can you see at the bottom of the video here, it says Attach Tool, Bredel K150, 105. If I press Q, it attaches the tractor to the Bredel. So they're now attached. Now, if you have bought it in the car park, the lime will be right next to your Bredel automatically. If it's not, just literally attach the tractor and the Bredel and line them up to the lime in the car park. Press N, or if you are on console, just check the keybinds in the top left to open the lid. Yours will be empty, of course, because you need to fill it up. And then, can you see on the top left, it says I need to press I to unload. You will have an option to load the Bredel. I can't remember what keybind it is, but it will say there. In fact, can I just... No, don't worry. It will say load. I think it's R for Romeo, and it will just automatically, as long as you are close to the lime that we saw in the car park on the ground, you can press R and keep pressing it, and it will, every few seconds it will stop, and you can fill it up more, and it will fill up the Bredel here. We can then press N again to close the lid, and then you're just going to drive your tractor and Bredel that are now connected over to the field that needs liming. We drive it over. What we can do when we get here is press B, which you can see on my keybinds on top left, to start spreading. It's very obvious when it's spreading because we can see it is. And this is literally going to be liming the field. Now, again, you can turn this option off in the options. You can also leave it on if you want and actually decide not to lime your fields, but you will get less yield in your crops. If you do not lime, you will actually get a smaller output of crop yield when you come to harvest your crops. In these tractors as well, just go slower on the controls. It's very easy to like overturn in these, I find. So that's step one done. We have limed our fields. This is actually probably one of the most complex parts of liming. Next, we're going to look at ploughing the field. So I have it on in my options that I don't need to periodically plough my fields. But if it's a new field, etc., maybe you haven't ploughed it yet, then you will need to plough. So what I'm going to do is park up my Bredel over here. And a Q again to detach it. And I'm going to drive around. This field doesn't actually need ploughing, but I'm just showing you for the purpose of the tutorial. And again, you can go to growth. And again, let's turn everything off just because it makes it easier, especially if you're a beginner. And we can select this option for ploughed, cultivated, or stubble tillage. So if I get out of this tractor, stubble tillage, if you're wondering what that is, it's basically the remnants of your last harvest. And you can sort of see it on the soil bed. Can you see there's all just crap lying around on the soil bed? So let's get ploughing. God, that's a bit of a bit of an adult sentence to say on a farming simulator tutorial. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse up to my little plowy mabob and connect it here. Again, when you get close, you can see I can attach the John Deere 980. Don't worry, I will show you in the store what we need to buy. So that's attached. And this is a cultivator, basically. This is going to cultivate the land so that it is ready for seeding. So when we drive it up to the field and we stop, I want you to pay close attention to the actual kind of utensils or the tool at the end. If I press V, can you see it's lowering it really close to the ground and then hiring it? So when you get up to your field, you want to lower the cultivator to the ground, and this is going to automatically cultivate the soil, as you can see here. Oh my God, a bit wonky, but there we go. And we are cultivating the soil here, ready for seeding. And then to lift it again, of course, you just press V. What you can also do, if I just tab around, And in fact, a good tip actually is just to leave a tractor at the store, and you can just get in any vehicle and just tab around to get straight to the store really easily, rather than having to even fast travel. If we come to the store again, I just want to show you in here, we can go all the way up to soil cultivation, and you can buy in here, you know, plows for plowing the soil. With a plow, you can prepare fields for the next sowing and create new fields, and also cultivators. A cultivator prepares fields for the next sowing. So we're using the John Deere 980. You can see all the different crazy cultivators, etc., that you can buy in here. So if you don't already have one, this is where you can buy them, in plows and cultivators. Now our soil is ready to seed and sow the crops. The next thing we now need to do, of course, is actually seed our and sow our crops. So again, you're going to want a tractor. You can use the one we've already had. Just press Q or whatever your keybind is to detach the cultivator. Drive it down to the shop if you need to get some seeds. And if we actually scroll down in the shop, you can actually see that you can get full-on seeders. Crazy big seeding attachments here. The cheapest one we're going to be using is the Great Plains Solid Stand 1500. And if you do start with a starter farm, that's the one you get. And you can see down here the different crops that can be grown with the seeder here. If you press escape, we can then go over to category seeds. And that is where you can actually buy your seeds. Now, you can get a forklift and buy them on pallets, etc., bags of seeds. What I would recommend doing is either buying a seeder in the store here, or with a seeder that you already have, drive it down to the store, buy all of your seeds, and park it up near the shop. And again, just fill it up. Now, I've already got my seeder ready, so it's the same way that you park it next to the lime and you just fill it up. I'm going to use my little trick just to be lazy by tabbing back. So let's put our cultivator away and attach it. No. Oh, did I attach it? There we go. And now I'm going to reverse in and get my seeder. I've actually got a trailer of seeds here as well. Just FYI. I'm going to reverse it in to my seeder. Now this one's already got seeds in it. And again, you can see it says attach. I just add that on. And we're going to drive it out. What you can see on the right-hand side is that it says canola, and it shows you how full my seeder is. Let's see if I can actually... Can I do it from a... I'm not sure if I can do it from a trailer. I don't think I can do it directly from the trailer. No, I can't. But again, you can press N to close the lids, and that's when you're near bags of seed. It will then say, you know, do you want to... add in the seeds from your bags that are nearby. So all we're going to do with our seeder is, we need to choose our crop, of course. So to choose our crop, what we can actually do is, I've forgotten the keybind now. Y. So on the right-hand side, it says canola currently. I can press Y to go all the way over to wheat. Where is wheat? Wheat. There we go, wheat. So the bags of seeds actually are all seeds. And therefore, when we just cycle through them, we can use wheat, barley, oats, canola, etc., etc. Obviously, for this video, we are doing wheat. And what we're going to do is just drive forward to our field, ready to go. And then we can, again, like the last machine, we are going to lower the seeder with V, and you can see it's lowered, ready to go. And then B to turn it on. And now, there we go. Now we are seeding, and you can see the difference in the soil where I've literally laying down the seeds of wheat into the soil here. And there we go. Those are our seeds. If we now turn that off and lift it up, and we go into our map, and then we go to crop types, can you now see that if we click on wheat, we can now see that we've seeded all of this wheat in here. If I turn it off, etc. And there we go. And that is where we can see our wheat growing, which is fantastic. If we go to growth, we can also see that the wheat is growing now. What you'll see on the left-hand side of growing, it's very light green. The darker it gets means the closer it is to crop harvesting time, and then ready to harvest, it will be like this color. And that's how you know when it's ready to harvest. Before we can harvest it, however, we may need to do a few things. That could be fertilizing and weeding, depending if you have those options on in the game options that I showed you. As a beginner, if you are a beginner, I would recommend you do not have weeding or even, fertilizer just ups the yield. You don't have to fertilize. You don't even have to lime if you don't want to. But weeds can actually wither your crops, and I would actually say to keep that off. But what you can do is, again, come to the store, and you're probably starting to understand by now. We can then go to weeders here and sprayers, fertilizer spreaders, the other fertilizer spreaders. Now, remember, the Breedle can actually do both. But we've got, obviously, lime in ours. You may want to get a fertilizer one and a liming one. It's up to you. And then consumables, you can buy your fertilizer that you can obviously use for sprayers or liquid or solid as well. And in the exact same way, we're just going to buy a fertilizer spreader or a sprayer for the weeds, etc., and then just go over the fields with them the exact same way. And in the map, that's where you can see on the categories we looked at, if you need to weed or fertilize. You can fertilize twice in a growing cycle to maximize yield. That also helps with liming, also helps, of course. And there we go. That is everything you need to know, apart from, of course, harvesting and selling the wheat. Let's look at that now. So now that our crops have actually grown, what we now need to do is harvest them. So I have a combine harvester here. Again, you can buy this in the store. You are going to need, excuse the snow, by the way, I have all seasons turned on. And then you need to put a header on it. Oh, hang on, we need to shut this off for my last batch. So there's a few things we need to do. You need to put the header on, which is basically, can you see this on the front? So you need to add one of these to the one. I'm using a Massey Ferguson, whatever that says. Pretty much the starting one you get. Then we need to unfold it. So we could press X to unfold the top. Again, keybinds on top left. And we are ready to go and harvest. Now on the right hand side, you can see a 0%. And when I drive over and actually harvest these crops, what you're going to see, if I press B now to get it going and press V, so B for Bravo, V to for Victor, B to start it going and V to actually lower it, we can now drive forward and start harvesting our wheat. And there we go. As I'm going over, we're harvesting all the wheat and it's going into, as you can see there, into the actual combine harvester. You could press C for Charlie and actually get a first-person view as well if you'd like, which is really, really immersive. I think you can even buy a wheel to actually do this properly, But there we go. Isn't that amazing? And we're filling it up with wheat. On the right-hand side, you can see the percentage of how full it is. You can see we're 5% full currently, and then 6% full. And then once we're done, we just turn it off. Now, I obviously haven't done much. You'd be ideally doing a full field. This is just a tutorial. Now what we need to do is actually unload our harvest, either into a silo, or we're going to sell it. Two options, okay? So what I'm going to do is just park it here, like this. And then again on our keybinds, you can see it says pipe out. So I'm going to turn the pipe outwards like this. And I'm also going to lift up the header on the front. I'm then going to tab over to my truck with my trailer on the back. And again, you can just buy a trailer like this at the store and attach it to your tractor. And we're going to drive it up to the combine harvester. And it's going to automatically start filling up the trailer. And this is really cool, okay, with our wheat. Oh, gosh, better watch out. A bit more. There we go, look. It's automatically filling up the trailer. Now, obviously, we didn't harvest very much, so it's not very full. But this is just a tutorial. So please don't judge my crop yield, okay? And now we're going to drive it to town and actually unload it. So another option you could do is go to somewhere like a silo here. Oh, my God, my driving is horrific. It's the snow. I blame it. and you can just see that grate on the floor. You can have it over the grate. Now there's something else in that silo, so I can't show you that. I'm going to go onto my map. I'm going to go to this one here, the tip station tag place, which is going to add a little icon on my map. You'll see it in a second. See that red icon in the distance, 700 meters away? Oh, sorry, neighbouring field. I hope you don't mind me trampling all your crops. I mean, they are the competition after all. And actually, while we're on the way, I'm just going to explain the reason that you may want to store it in a silo. If we go down to the statistics here in the menu and prices, and then click wheat, wherever it is. It's on there somewhere. Near the bottom, I think it's, wheat. You can see that where we are at the moment in April isn't the best time to sell it. July would be the worst time, and December would be the best time to sell our wheat. So that's why you may want to keep it in a silo. And you can also see the different places that will buy it actually have different prices as well. And that may impact where you want to go and sell your wheat. Because it's, it's a long time to grow this. You don't want to just waste it all by selling it really cheap. So here we are. We've nearly arrived. Oh, is this a train stop? Oh, God. God knows what I'm getting myself into. And can you see here there's a grate on the floor again? So all I have to do is drive over the grate so that my trailer is going to be over it and can actually tip out. And on the bottom of my screen, can you now see it says I dump wheat? And if I just press I, it will lift it up and it will dump it all into the silo, and I will have sold all of that wheat. And that's it, guys. That is how you grow, harvest, etc., and sell your wheat in Farming Simulator 25. I really hope this was a useful tutorial for you. Obviously, it is quite a complex game. If you're looking for other tutorials, I'm doing the entire game in the playlist you now see on screen. Please also consider, of course, clicking that subscribe button and supporting the channel. I do actually cover every single brand new and big game that comes out, and I do that on launch day of every game, so you can check out the playlists on my channel as well.